Make sure you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. And to never miss another lecture from Miracle, hit the bell icon to get regular updates on English literature.
Hello and welcome to Miracle English Language and Literature Institute. I'm Professor Abha Sharma, and today I'm going to do the very famous poem of William Butler Yeats, The Second Coming, in our Poetry Critical Appreciation segment. Yeats was a senior contemporary of Eliot and Auden. Auden wrote in memory of W.B. Yeats on his death as an unconventional elegy. Now, this poem, The Second Coming, was written in 1919 and was published 2 years after. And the initial title in the draft was Second Birth, and later he changed it to The Second Coming. It refers to the coming of Christ traditionally. That is, Christ will return to the earth as promised in the New Testament. An unconventional theme is there in the poem, which has eluded many readers because of its oblique references and ambiguous images. Now, Yeats had lived through the tough times, World War One. He has written many poems in the shadow of World War One. If you have read Prayer for My Daughter and then 1919, and many other poems are based on the same theme of war or an Irish Revolution. So here also, he had seen unprecedented slaughter. Several Irish nationalists had been executed in the struggle for freedom. So let's understand the poem first. There are two stanzas, and let's take up the first stanza first. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. The poet in these lines describes a nightmarish scene. The image of a falcon flying out of the hands of its human master. Falcon and falconer. So, falcon is a bird, hawk like bird, and falconer is the master. So, he takes the image from the medieval times when people would use falcons or hawks to track down animals at ground level. Now, he says that this falcon has gone out of the hands of his master. It is lost, it is out of control, and now it is not going to come back. So you can take this as the present situations which had gone out of the hand of man because of the wars. So anarchy, chaos, all was there in abundance. So much that the center cannot hold. Things fall apart. Very beautiful phrases here, which were used later on also by many poets, dramatists, playwrights, etc. So, it is difficult to hold the center. It has gone out of control. The cyclone of death and disaster is spiraled in the gyre. Gyre is the spiral movement of the wind or the smoke which carries away everything in its force and destroys it. This word is very famous with Yeats. I mean, it is his favorite word. He had used it in Sailing to Byzantium also. So the center is going out of control. Things fall apart. Again, very significant that the civilization is breaking very fast. The devil, evil has taken over the innocent spirits. The good are dying under the terror of the bad. They have lost any faith in goodness. Their survival is in question, whereas the bad, destructive powers are becoming powerful and are helping to destroy this present civilization. Now, this is all in reference to the collapse of traditional social arrangement in Europe. A kind of apocalypse is shown through these lines. Another significant phrase in these lines is the ceremony of innocence is drowned. We all feel that good people are tortured more. They have to face miseries and pains more than the people who are devilish, who are evil, who try to govern this world through bloodshed and all evil activities. And the good, they suffer at the hands of the bad people a lot. So he is, in a way, being very personal here, because maybe he, being a good moralistic man, had to suffer a lot in his own life. Now let's take the second stanza. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming? Hardly are those words out when a vast image of a spiritus mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough priest, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born? So now the inevitable collapse of systems and society is predicted in these lines. A big revelation. Something soon seems to be coming up. It is seen in store. The present conditions have aroused or instigated the storm, now announcing the second coming. In the New Testament, this phrase, the second coming, says that Christ will return to redeem the sins of man once again. When this world will be full of misdoings of man, Christ will be forced to walk in again on this earth. But as he speaks this phrase, the spirit of this world, that is the spiritus mundi, makes Yeats feel as if a monster has arisen from its sleep and had started coming towards them. It is like Sphinx or the monster with a lion's body and a human face, which is slowly advancing with a blank gaze and with no pity, and the comparison is made to the sun, pitiless sun. That means sun also doesn't have pity on humans. So similarly, this monster is coming without any pity, sympathy for the humans. So these are quite disturbing thoughts indicating the collapse or total degeneration of civilization. The darkness is here, and soon the terror, chaos, world war, all responsible to arouse this monster will witness the end of this world. It's almost been 20 centuries or 2000 years since Christ came to earth in human form and was crucified. But now a rough beast will reveal itself. These times are not for Christ in human form. Things have changed, and this disastrous time cannot be controlled by any human spirit. It needs a monster to wake us up from our 2000 years deep sleep. It will rock us, shake us from our deep slumber. It has already started its journey towards Bethlehem, where it will be shown first. The phrase slouches towards Bethlehem imparts the visual through words, the biblical reference of Bethlehem when Christ was born there. The poem ends with a question mark. Will this be so? His mystical belief that history repeats itself in cycles is shown there. It is very obvious with the images of a gyre which is widening and moving apart from the point of origin, losing control of the center. Maybe Yeats is trying to decenter Christianity. The faith is lost, the center cannot hold. Therefore, the second coming will be from other deity, some other religious philosophy. So it is coming to fulfill the prophecy from the biblical book of Revelation. It is the new Messiah coming either to redeem or to destroy. It is ambiguous. We can interpret in many ways. And this poem can serve as the best modern text to evaluate the literary theories. Many of Yeats' most celebrated poems end with a question. See from Among School Children, the last line is, how can we know the dancer from the dance? And then from Leda and the Swan, did she put on his knowledge with his power before the indifferent beak could let her drop? So in the second coming also, he ends with the rhetorical question, which really amounts to a prophecy that the beast is on its way to Bethlehem, the birthplace of Christ, to be born into this world. He believed that the world was on the threshold of an apocalyptic revelation. The poem is unrhymed with loose iambic pentameter. And many of the phrases and lines from the poem are used in many works by the novelist, by the TV episode makers, by the dramatist. For example, Chinua Achebe, in his novel, which was published in 1958, Things Fall Apart. The title has been borrowed from the phrase of this poem. And also, L. Saka's autobiography. Its name is The Center Cannot Hold, which was published in 2007. Then there is another essay titled Slouching Towards Bethlehem by John Dididens in 1968. And then Robert B. Parker's 1983 novel, The Widening Gyre. So I've tried my best to evaluate this poem, which is very different, ambiguous. The images are also quite ambiguous, they are not clear. But then I think you must have liked my effort. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel. And take care until I come with the next poem. Thank you.